What's up everyone, this is Trey Baird. Welcome to Gossipin' Games, and today we're going to be talking about marijuana legalization in 2016. And it's been a hell of a year for legalization. So what's new? At the time of recording, the 2016 election is still fairly fresh on everyone's mind. And everyone's talking about President-elect Donald Trump. And I think the whole presidency thing is much ado about very little. You know, the phrase is much ado about nothing, but, you know, it's obviously not nothing, but it is definitely not as much as people make it out to be. You know, our president is not a dictator. Congress has the real power. The president is more of a figurehead. And while he does definitely have power and is arguably the most powerful person in the world, definitely in this country, he's not the all supreme ruler that people seem to make him out to be. That's not to say that the president isn't capable of screwing things up, but I don't think it's, you know, something that was foretold in Revelation, for example. I don't think that we're doomed just because of a Trump presidency. To be honest with you, I was more anxious about a Hillary presidency, and it has nothing to do with political party affiliation. I don't really see much of a difference myself between the Republicans and the Democrats. I think that whoever coined the phrase Republicrats was onto something, because they're very similar to me. You know, but I'm a libertarian, so anything that's not a libertarian is, you know, everything else in my mind. So obviously I voted for Johnson. You know, spare me your lectures if you think that that was a wasted vote or whatever. I've heard it a million times. I disagree. You're not going to change my opinion. You know, thank you for thinking about me though. But, you know, being a libertarian, I'm always stoked to see progress in the way of civil liberties, you know, in freedom that actually affects people in their day-to-day life. And marijuana legalization is something that I've always felt strongly about, you know, and I never even tried it until I was an adult. But I felt that it needed to be legal even when I was a teenager. You know, obviously, you know, I was raised in the era of DARE, Don't Say No, Reaganomics, all that stuff. So, you know, as a kid, I felt strongly against it, but, you know, once I learned how to, you know, form my own opinions and learn to have independent thought, then I've been, you know, pro legalization ever since. It's a substance that has never killed anyone. It has never caused anyone any real harm. You know, is it a perfect miracle drug? No, it's not. It's not everyone should use it, and it is habit forming for some people. Excuse me 1 second while I kick this guy's ass. Rock steady. And then Q Shredder. So yeah, I've definitely met people who had marijuana problems. And it takes a certain type of personality to have a problem with marijuana. And to be honest with you, I don't even like calling it marijuana, because I always think about the parents from the 90s and 80s who say marijuana, you know, like it's such a horrible thing. And the only reason it was ever called marijuana in the first place was because of racism towards Hispanics. You know, the Mexicans called it marijuana, and in order to get the public firmly against it, they had to give it a Mexican, quote-unquote Mexican name. It used to be called cannabis before that. Cannabis sativa, cannabis indica, you know, whatever. And I prefer to call it cannabis or weed or anything, you know. Never actually heard anyone call it grass that wasn't, you know, well past their prime. Only, people who were, relevant back in the 60s and 70s would call it grass. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. I digress. We have 4 new states that have legalized it in 2016. California, Nevada, Maine, Massachusetts. That is freaking awesome. This is a victory for liberty. And, the ball is rolling. We are in motion here. Legalization is happening now. The naysayers can no longer say that it's not happening, because it clearly is. The war on drugs was a failure. The Republicans lost. I guess it's not just the Republicans, but it was a Republican thing to start off. It was started by Richard Nixon, who wanted to battle the hippies and the Black Pride movement, because those were the people who were using it. They couldn't challenge, Nixon couldn't challenge the Nixon administration could not challenge these people directly without violating the Constitution, but they could attack their lifestyle, and that's exactly what the Nixon administration did when they declared the war on drugs, and then Ronald Reagan doubled down on it, and it's been a complete waste of money. Even if you are 100% against usage, you cannot argue that the war on drugs has been successful. We've wasted countless, billions of dollars on it. We've ruined so many people's lives, and usage has exponentially gone up. Even if you completely are against using it, is this really how you want your tax dollars to be used? You want to fund this machine that victimizes people and not only doesn't deter marijuana usage, but actually seems to encourage it. And then you have all these people who are now doubting the whole way that our criminal justice system is set up. And if there is any validity to the gateway drug theory that using weed will lead to harder drugs, it's this. The person tries weed, which is a class 1 controlled substance, meaning that it supposedly has no redeeming qualities whatsoever, and they realize that they had been lied to by their government, and now they want to see what the other drugs are like. If those are as, in the same ballpark. So if there is any validity to the gateway drug theory, that would be it. But lots of people try weed and never go on to harder things. That's just ridiculous. But in order to get weed on the black market, they have to get it from the same people who might offer harder things. A lot of the same people who sell weed also sell or know somebody who sells, cocaine or heroin or whatever. They're just entrepreneurs trying to make money. They, a lot of them don't believe in the herb itself. That they just, have taken advantage of the black market that exists because of prohibition against it. If you won't license people, if the government won't license people to sell it, then someone on the black market will. And that's been the case for just about everything. And that's one of the main reasons that I am a libertarian. You can't legislate morality. Assuming that, weed usage is a moral issue. You can't legislate that. And if you're a Christian or whatever, or other type of religious person, just because you've made something illegal doesn't mean that person doesn't want to do it anymore. They say that if you sin in your heart, you sin just the same. If you lust after another woman and you're married, you've already sinned. It doesn't matter if adultery is legal or not, or prostitution is legal or not. You can't legislate, morality like that. But I happen to think that cannabis usage is not immoral in any way, shape, or form. So now we have 8 states total in the United States that have legalized it, and that is awesome. 9 states if you count Washington, D.C. And that's the entire West Coast. Alaska, and then there's Canada, which will be legalizing most likely in the next few years. And then there's Washington, Oregon, and California. The entire West Coast of the United States. That's freaking awesome. Plus Nevada, which is right next to California and is not classified as a flyover state. People actually have a reason to go to Nevada, and now they have another one. So that's pretty cool. Of course, even though the entire West Coast is legalized now, you technically can't transport across state lines because it's still illegal at the federal level, and the feds have determined that even if 2 states, neighboring states, have legalized, that doesn't mean that they can cross state lines. The industry has to remain within that state. Look at this little guy. I'm fostering him. Well, my wife and I are fostering him. He is so annoying. He's always messing with me while I'm trying to work. He's so affectionate, though. We're hoping that we can find him a home. He was a feral cat. We named him Mortimer after the Bob's Burgers characters Mort and Teddy. And Teddy's around here somewhere, his sibling mate, his litter mate. So in addition to the 4 new states that have legalized, there's also 4 medical states, 4 new medical states. I believe it was Montana, North Dakota, Arkansas, and Florida. So 2 new southern states have now legalized medical, and that's, if my statistics are correct, that is 28 states total out of 50 that have legalized legalized medical. And you just can't argue with progress. We are definitely getting there. There's no reason why the entire country can't legalize medical. I mean, the polls show that, even though, just over half of the citizenship believes in legalization for recreational use, a much higher number than that believes in legalization for medical. I mean, only the most assholiest of people, of assholes, believe that medical marijuana should be illegal. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Who the hell are you to say that someone dying of cancer, or maybe not dying, but suffering because of cancer or something extreme like that, that they're a criminal for getting high? I mean, really? What's going on with these other, 22 other states that don't feel this way? Come on, people. I mean, even if you don't want to legalize it for recreational use, you can't be serious when it comes to medical. I mean, I'm in a medical state, and the requirements are very strict on who can use and who can't. So, I mean, the only state that didn't legalize for recreational this year that was on the ballot was Arizona. And the word has it that they would have, but the wording of the bill was just not very good. Like, it created too many loopholes for people to escape prosecution or something. I don't know exactly what was going on with that, but the concern was that there would be a lot of stone drivers or whatever. And whatever, if you live in Arizona, then perhaps you can work on another bill for the next election and maybe do better next time. Because even with the imperfect bill that was imperfect law that would have been passed, it still got a lot of support. So I think a more carefully worded vote would be good and would probably most likely pass next time. Arizona is ready. You know, I've been saying it as far as this part of the country where I live in. You know, I'm in Illinois. We've been waiting. You know, we're just close enough to Colorado. A lot of people take vacations in Colorado, and people are seeing the positive effects that legalization has had for Colorado. And I've been saying that it just takes one state on this side of the Mississippi to legalize, and that's going to get the ball rolling. And once you get legalization going on both sides of the river, that's when national legalization is on the horizon. People are seeing the positive effects that Colorado is having. People are taking their vacations, they're relocating there, and it's been almost a completely positive experience for Colorado, and other states want in on that. And now that we have two states on this side of the river, Boston, or Massachusetts and Maine, it's happening. It's going to be a domino effect from this point on. There's going to be other states, and it's just going to keep rolling, and it's going to happen. And that is awesome. The baby boomers started the hippie movement, but we finished it. We're the generation that legalized weed. So suck it, baby boomers.